Hello, this is George.
And Bonnie.
And this is Adonai's Sanctuary of Truth classroom. Now, we're in Bereshit, or Genesis 32. I know we're going kind of slow, but we've had to go through
A lot of stuff.
Adam,
Up to where we're at now.
yeah, where we're right now.
A lot of things to cover in this. Yes.
Ready?
Let's go.
Okay. We are going back to Jacob. And he was afraid of his brother. My sweetie's going to read Genesis 32, 3 through 6.
Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to Esau his brother toward the land of Seir, the country of Edom, with these instructions. Here is what you are to say to my lord Esau. Your servant Jacob says, I have been living with Laban and have stayed until now. I have cattle, donkey, and flocks, and male and female servants. I am sending to tell you this news to my lord in order to win your favor. The messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We went to your brother Esau, and he is coming to meet you. With him are 400 men.
Jacob called his brother Esau Lord, and states, Your servant, Jacob. His messengers didn't return and say, Your brother is going to come and embrace you. No. Read the last part of 6 again, please.
He is coming to meet you. With him are 400 men.
No, he says he's coming with 400 men. What's Jacob's thoughts?
Uh-oh.
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 He hasn't forgot what I did some 20 years ago. Then here's this powerful man of God. Read 32:7, please.
Jacob became greatly afraid and distressed. He divided the people, flocks, cattle, and camel with him into 2 camps.
This man of God, he became distressed over what Esau might do, to the point of dividing all his possessions into 2 groups. He was afraid of what might take place because of what he did to his brother when he and his mother took matters into their own hands. When we went over that, it seems like his prayer was reminding Adonai, you said return to your country, your kinsmen, and it will be good. Now my brother's coming with 400 men. Read 9, please.
Then Jacob said, God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, Adonai who told me, return to your country and your kinsmen, and I will do you good.
Then the truth comes up to even why he's praying. Read 11, please.
Please rescue me from my brother Esau. I am afraid of him, afraid he'll come and attack me without regard for mothers or children.
Then Jacob reminds Adonai. You might say he reminds Adonai what? Read 12 and 13, please.
You said, I will certainly do you good, and make your descendants as numerous as the grains of the sea, which are so many they can't be counted. Both 12 and 13. He stayed there that night. Then he chose from among his possessions the following as a present for Esau his brother.
We like that one part. Now here's the part that we really thought was kind of interesting. Here he is praying, and what Jacob says to Adonai God, You said? Is that like telling Adonai, remember what you told me? It's time. Help me, please. Now! We are not saying he shouldn't have been scared because of what he did in the past, but he was hoping someone else would fix it. In other words, Adonai. Because he knew he messed up. So after begging Adonai, Jacob sends a bribe to his brother Esau. 15, please. 14 through 21.
200 female goats and 20 males, 200 female sheep and 20 males, 30 milk camels and their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 colts. He turned them over to his servants, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, cross over in front of me and keep a space between each drove and the next one. He instructed the servant in the front. When Esau my brother meets you and asks, whose servants are you? Where are you going? And whose animals are these? Then you are to say, they belong to my servant Jacob, and they are a present he has sent to my lord Esau. And Jacob himself is just behind us. He also instructed the second servant and the third and all that followed the droves. When you encounter Esau, you are to speak to him in the same way. And you are to add, and there, just behind us, is your servant Jacob. And he said, I will appease him first with the present that goes ahead of me. Then after that I will see him myself, and maybe he will be friendly toward me. Through 21.
Mm-hmm.
So the present crossed over ahead of him, and he himself stayed that night in the camp.
We like that. All this is from your brother Jacob, which is a present to you, his brother Esau. When you look at it, it seems he was pouring it on rather thick, doesn't it? Like we said, he was kind of scared.
Yeah.
Now, what's so interesting to us was that according to the part of Adonai's letter where Jacob wrestles with, read 32:24, please.
I lost it. Oh, there it is. And Jacob was left alone. Then some man wrestled with him until daybreak.
Then some man wrestled with him. Now read 27, please, and 28.
The man asked, what is your name? And he answered, Jacob. Then the man said, from now on you will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, because you have shown your strength to both God and men and have prevailed.
Then the man said, now it says, the man said, nowhere in all that writing is the name stated except the one wrestling. It says, what? The man. You have shown your strength to both God and men, and have prevailed. Now that part is so very interesting. We've all been told what it means. The man who wrestled with Jacob told him his name was no more Jacob, but Israel. Then after the wrestling match, it states what? In 30, please.
Jacob called the place Peniel, face of God, because I have seen God face to face, yet my life is spared.
Because I have seen God face to face, and I still live. Now, what does Scripture really say, though? We're going to be in 32. Read 25 or 24.
32:24.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob was left alone. Then some man wrestled with him until daybreak.
26.
I lost it. Well, where in the... Oh. The man said, "Let me go because it's daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I won't let you go unless you bless me."
27.
The man asked, "What is your name?" And he answered, "Jacob."
28.
Then the man said, "From now on you will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, because you have shown your strength to both God and men and have prevailed."
Through all those does it, any one of them, say anyone except the man. Now 29 states, you have shown strength both to God and men. Nowhere is there a word that he wrestled with Adonai, not with a man. Excuse me. Talk a minute. She didn't talk.
No.
Excuse me. It does state in 30, read that again. We'll go over that many times.
Jacob called the place Peniel, face of God, because I have seen God face to face, yet my life is spared.
I have seen God face to face. Interpretations point to him wrestling, but according to Scripture, Jacob wrestled a man. Then he saw Adonai face to face. Excuse me. If you want to believe that he wrestled God, and he could handle God, not a man, then you would have to discount 32 from 24 through 30. We're not telling you to drop your understanding. No, just study what the Scriptures really say there, without anybody telling you or brainwashing you on what you should see there. Only to see the truth and what the Scripture says. Now the Scripture says 24, I think it's 24 through 30, he wrestled a man. Then it states he saw God face to face. I can't imagine any man strong enough to wrestle with God, but maybe a man that God sent his way. Now that's my opinion, and because he did wrestle with a man, as Scripture says. Jacob sees Esau coming. We're done talking about that, because you have to set up your own mind, read your word, read it what the Scriptures say. Don't read what you've been told in the past. Oh, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. Okay, Jacob sees Esau coming. 31:1, he sees 400 men. Read that, please.
Jacob raised his eyes and looked out, and there was Esau coming with 400 men with him. So Jacob divided his children between Leah, Rachel, and the 2 slave girls.
He divided his family in his ranks of priorities. Verse 2, please.
Putting the slave girls and their children first, Leah and her children second, and Rachel and Joseph last.
Read number 2, because we found that he divided into priorities and how they did. Did you just read number 2? Mm-hmm. I was busy. Expecting the worst, yet verse 3 seemed to point that he had a slight change of heart. I don't know if you ever saw this before, but he had a slight change of heart after he divided his family up. Read number 3, please.
Then he Then he himself passed on ahead of them and prostrated himself on the ground 7 times before approaching his brother.
Think about what must have been going through his mind. Going to see his brother, and his last thing he heard about his brother, as they ever saw him, or after Dad passed away, he was going to kill him. So he runs up and bows down to his brother 7 times. I bet he was thinking, is my brother going to kill me for the terrible things I did to him? Esau was coming with 400 men. What am I going to do? What a surprising event took place. Verse 4, please.
Esau ran to meet him, hugged him, threw his arms around his neck, and kissed him, and they wept.
As brothers, they wept because they saw each other again after 20 years, over 20 years. Read 5, please.
Esau looked up. On seeing the women and children, he asked, "Who are these with you?" Jacob answered, the children God has graciously given to your servant."
Who are these with you? He wants his brother just asking a question. When you look at that verse, is Esau still testing the water with his brother? The children of God has graciously given to your servant. Isn't that what you just read?
That's what Jacob said.
Then through 33, 6 and 7. Read 6 and 7, please.
Then the slave girls approached with their children, and they prostrated themselves. Leah too and her children approached and prostrated themselves. And last came Joseph and Rachel, and they prostrated themselves.
They presented themselves to his brother Esau by, I think it would be by his order of rank in Jacob's household. Joseph and Rachel, the ones most protected and loved, the ones he loved most, were last. Read verse 8, please.
Esau asked, "What is the meaning of this procession of droves I encountered?" And he answered, "It was to win my Lord's favor."
Esau asked, what's all this animals ahead of you for? And Jacob admits, it's to win favor with you, my brother, my Lord. His brother, the one he tricked his father blessing from, and wouldn't let him eat any food until he first gave Esau's birthright to Jacob. Now Jacob is giving Esau gifts and calling his brother my Lord. First thing that we thought of was, what a change when you become a little scared. Was he thinking of self-preservation?
Yep.
We like how Esau replies, though. Verse 9, please.
Esau replied, "I have plenty already. My brother, keep your possession for yourself."
I have plenty. You keep yours, I'll have mine. Jacob says, please accept the gifts, until Esau says, okay. Here we go again. Read 14.
"Instead, please my lord, go ahead of your servant. I will travel more slowly, at a pace of the cattle ahead of me, and at the pace of the children. until I come to my Lord in Seir.
What does Jacob do? Says to Esau, you go ahead. I'll follow you, and I'll come to see you in Seir. Don't worry, I'm right behind you.
That's what it says.
I'll come to see you, my lord Esau. Esau even tried to help his brother with everything. With everything Jacob had to do. But, read 15, please.
Esau replied, Let me leave with you some of the people I have here. But Jacob said, There's no need for my Lord to be so kind to me.
No, you don't have to be so kind. You don't have to do that. We can do it. I'll see you in Seir, don't worry. Excuse me. But instead of going to Seir, where did brother Jacob, where did he go? He went to Succoth. Scripture never really says how long they lived in Succoth, but it says in 16 and 17. It gives us a hint.
So Esau left that day to return to Seir. Jacob went on to Succoth, where he built himself a house, and put up shelters for his cattle. This is why the place is called Succoth, which means shelters.
Long enough to build a house and shelters for his cattle. He didn't go to where his brother was, in Seir, like he told his brother he was going to. He'd meet him there. He'd follow him. Don't worry, I'm coming. And then he goes to a different place. And I would bet it takes him a while to get everything settled there. Buy some land, builds a house. And they really don't live in houses. So how long was he there? That's kind of interesting. He never did go see his brother in Seir, up till then. Then Jacob crossed the Jordan River after building all those things to Shechem. And Shechem in Canaan. Scripture states he set up his camp near Shechem. From there he bought land where he pitched his tent. It never says he went to Seir to see his brother. Now in 15 it states he built a place, a house, and shelter for cattle, but in the last part of 19 it states he pitched his tent. We wrote interesting. He even put up an altar and called the place the God of Israel. I can't pronounce the Hebrew word. Well, I can pronounce Israel, but Elohai. Instead of Elohim, it's Elohai, Israel. He put up an altar to God, but he never kept his word to his brother Esau. And people, later on, we're going to find out that Esau's descendants, you might say, turned out to be kind of a rowdy bunch of characters. But as far as I look at it, Jacob never kept his word. Not to his brother Esau. And he had to be scared. I don't think he kept his word to God. To quite a while. Later on, we have to admit, Adonai says he's the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But Jacob doesn't seem like the character that I always thought he was when I read Scripture. That's going to be it for today, because it was a short one. And we're not even out of talking about Jacob yet.
No, there's a lot there, though, yet.
There's a lot coming up. But think about what that Scripture says. Preachers have told us our whole life, God wrestled with Jacob. And my first thought when I heard it was, isn't God strong enough to take on a guy? But Scripture says he wrestled with a man. And then yes, 31 or something like that says he saw God face to face and lived. It doesn't say he wrestled with God face to face and lived, because I don't think he'd have been strong enough. Yeah, I know, the socket and all that. But it's interesting. When you really study what the Word says, to me it says very clearly he wrestled with a man. May have been sent by God. But according to what the Word says, he wrestled with a man. It says that 4 times. But anyway, that's it for this week. Sorry I got coughing a little bit. That's it.
Have a good week, guys. Please like and share it.
We don't know where we'll be next week.
Then check out our YouTube channel if you want to see them all. They're all there, and they're all here on Facebook.
Right now we're in Oregon.
Yeah, fantastic campground.
Fantastic place. Not Oregon, but the campground. Golf course out the front. Sawmill off the right. And the campground off the backside. What a place.
It's been wonderful.
And we hope you have a fantastic week.
Yep. We will see you next week.
Bye.